Hey Google, turn on light.
Back in the man cave, back with Darren, after his attempt at his 3 Peaks run. So we've got some questions for him. Let's see how we got on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm stiff, goodness knows how you feel. Right, we'll do it this way around easy because it's easy to record.
Yeah.
So, tell us about your trip, tell us about your adventure. Last time we spoke, you were prepped and ready to go nearly for your FKT attempt.
Yeah.
On the 3 Peaks, you call it Project Great Britain, but...
Yeah, so, yeah, Project Great Britain is obviously something that I put together like we discussed before. It's the 3 Peaks challenge that I went for. It's
but not the 3 Peaks that people usually just drive in between.
No.
So I'll let
decided to run them.
It just, even now, knowing what you've done, it's like, yeah, still can't get my head around it.
Yeah.
It's such a long way.
An excellent journey. So yeah, we started off in Fort William. We've gone the journey. It was a nice morning. The weather was great.
So your wife took you up, or you went up in your van?
Yeah. Night before.
Yeah, and she was your support team.
Yeah.
Right, so you started at the bottom then. You started at the bottom in Scotland at Fort William.
Yeah.
To go up Ben Nevis.
Yeah.
And ran it up or just walked up?
Fast hiked it up.
Yeah. Summit, photograph.
Yeah.
And down.
Yeah, a bit of a video.
And then
back down.
And then what?
And then met my support team, my wife at the bottom. Again, refilled bottles and off I went down the West Island way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so that's trail then. So you're trail running, and how far's that bit of West Highland Way? Including
Ben Nevis that day, I finished on 65 miles.
So wow. So how far is the West Highland Way? Sorry, we'll backtrack. We had a technical error.
Okay, yeah.
Is he doing it?
Yeah,
he's doing it again. Right, after a bit of a glitch there. Right, so we'll have to backtrack, which you really don't want to do on a long distance run.
No.
So West Highland Way is a trail track now. To where?
Yeah, so that runs from Fort William down to Mulgai.
And you were running the whole thing?
Yeah.
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 And
I did that bit in 2 days. The trail in 2 days.
So when I was dot watching, the dot seemed to move quite slowly on that. So was it hard going?
That would be the second day. Yeah. Down the dreaded Loch Lomond.
Right.
Where it's just especially the first half of that second day.
Yeah.
Down Loch Lomond, it's all boulders and tree roots and up and downs and climbing over ladders. It's just...
Second day Loch Lomond's done. What comes after? So what are we on now? We're on day... Is it day 3?
So day 3, once we've hit Mulgai, we're on to day 3.
Yeah.
So that night when I finished Mulgai, we went slightly a little bit more. Can't remember the name of the place because I wanted to run through Glasgow, but it was late. It was at night. So we didn't. We stopped short.
So you stopped short of Glasgow?
Yeah.
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 Because I can imagine navigation through somewhere busy is probably harder than somewhere fairly quiet that there's less going on. So like roads and lanes are easy, but like lots of road crossings and road junctions and streets and stuff will be hard to navigate.
It was right through this main city of Glasgow, and it would have been about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning on a weekend.
And nightmare.
On a sort of Sunday night, I think it was. Monday, but I think it was Sunday night. Yeah, so decided not to.
No, that could have got a bit fruity.
But it was a long day that day anyway, so it worked out.
So get to Glasgow.
Yeah.
And where are you on with next then?
So we went from there, just slightly north of Glasgow.
And weirdly, as I'm thinking this, so if I'm working back down the map, it's all very well saying these names, like Loch Lomond, Glasgow. There's a lot of distance in between all these places.
Yeah.
And I was, like I say, I was watching the dot, and it was fairly slow, which must have been the second day of the Highland Way. Highland Way?
Yeah, West Highland Way.
West Highland Way.
Yeah.
But then it did speed up, and that's because you hit the road.
Yeah.
So, and then you were fairly shifting.
Yeah.
So, different kit. What were you wearing? Different footwear, or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I went into road trainers after the trail bit, after the West Island Way was finished.
Bearing in mind you're not a road runner.
No, I try to steer clear of the roads, but unfortunately this one, I had to go on the roads to get there as quick as I needed to get there. So, north of Glasgow, road shoes on, through Glasgow, early hours of the morning, so we set off like 5:30, I think it was, through Glasgow, 6 o'clock, and then running down to the service station, which was the Cairn Lodge service station.
Right. Yeah.
Stopped there.
So no nav errors or anything in Glasgow in the daylight? And
going through the city centre, little bits, just finding the right streets where to stop and have a quick look and nav through because there's that many streets crossing and going. So but no, nothing serious, straight through. And then once I was on the main B road, it was just the same road all the way to Cairn Lodge.
So Cairn Lodge, where from there? So did you arrive there in the evening? Because we've not talked about sleeping yet.
Yeah. So no, it was mainly when I set off. It was early hours of the morning.
Right.
So I'd run through the day.
So were you setting an alarm
through
then?
the night.
Were you setting an alarm giving you
4
hours sleep?
Yeah.
3 hours sleep?
Sometime between 2 and 4.
Yeah.
There was a couple of stages where I took sort of 3.5 hours sleep, and another where I got like 2.5.
And were you tempted just to put it on snooze for a bit and just roll over?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
And was that the first thing you woke when you woke up in the morning? Right. It's like Groundhog Day. Need to get cracking.
Yeah. It was. It worked all right. I didn't sleep too much and my brain was working all the time, so I just wanted to get up there and get out.
I suppose it's like that feeling when we're going to go and do something exciting. You don't sleep that well, do you, the night before, because you've all got all that bubbling away.
Yeah.
Right.
So
imagine that having that every day being a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. So
or every night.
That's how it felt. Yeah. So I'd get in to the checkpoints when I finished for the day, something to eat. Yeah. Kit packed for the next day, get everything ready, and probably by the time then you'd only getting sort of like a couple of hours sleep, and then I'm wired on because I've took gels and jelly babies.
So bearing in mind what we're like 4 days in, are we here? So 4 days in, you've not slept properly from before you set off.
Yeah.
Are you doing all the kit preparation, or is Hannah doing it?
Hannah.
Yeah.
Hannah would prep all the kit.
Are you in bits every time you get in the van? Are you just wanting to close your eyes and fall asleep, or you?
I started having issues with obviously the pounding of the floor, when my feet were just swelling.
Yeah, which in long distance running happens anyway.
Yeah. Of course it can. So it's managing them, and I think I'm quite prone to them as well.
Right.
It seems to affect me. So it was getting in the van and getting ice on them and elevating the feet and
but you're doing everything right. You're wearing compression socks.
Yeah.
And all that. Yeah.
Yeah, so unfortunately on that day, just before we were going through Glasgow, I started getting a bit of rubbing and I got a blister.
Right.
So we had to deal with that and stop and bandage that up and stuff. So.
I'm aware of something that happened, and this, I'm not sure if this is related, but has been an issue with trainers.
Yeah.
Did anything happen with a particular set of trainers prior to the blister, or was it just changing from one set of trainers to another set of trainers and the blister was just going to happen anyway?
No, it was
because a little bird told me that there was a bit of a trainer issue.
Yeah, there was, and so I wore my trail trainers obviously for the first park down the West Highland Way and to go up Ben Nevis.
I'm making light of this because they didn't come out of my pockets.
Yeah. So oh right, of course. Yeah. So anyway, it was actually when I'd finished.
So you set off in Solomon's.
Yeah.
To Ben Nevis.
Yeah.
West Island Way.
Yeah.
And then you get rid of your Solomons and put them in the van. Yeah. And you put on what footwear did you put on?
It was
Brooks.
Brooks Adrenaline road trainers.
And most
the trail trainers didn't go in the van, Simon.
No, because they're probably smelly. They're probably a bit. I don't know if they were wet. Well, we
did. We put them outside to air, but we put them under the van.
You say we. You put them under the van, did you?
Apparently so. Yeah.
And I've been there before when I've seen like bike wheels and stuff left in car parks, and people have left like a helmet just like hung up in a tree, and it's still there when they've gone.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what happened to this set of trainers. Were you fond of them?
No.
No.
They were pretty new. So they'd not done too many miles, which Hannah worked out.
Yeah. So you'd broken them in. You only just broken them in.
Yeah. So I went for a shower at this hotel on the West Highland Way, just at the end of West Highland Way there, and they went under there. Yeah. I went for a shower, and we'd packed. Obviously, I went and put the road trainers on, and we couldn't find them. Thinking, oh, what we're going to put on for Scafell. We couldn't find. She said, well, my wife actually said, "Where's your trainers, Darren? Because I can't smell them in the van."
It's good actually that she noticed that you hadn't got them before you got to Keswick.
Yeah.
Or Seatoller, which I assume is where you probably changed when you started going off road. Because if you'd have only discovered that there,
I know.
would a set of Brooks trainers got up Scafell?
It was pretty dry. Would have had to.
Yeah,
but
I suppose you had no choice, would you?
Well,
the clock's not going to stop, is it?
I saw people up there in flip-flops.
Yeah.
So.
It makes a change from high heels.
Yeah.
Right, sorry, so we got distracted there. So, the trainer issue apart, or aside, you're heading towards the English border.
Yeah.
So, you're going to have to rattle from that service station, which was called...
Yeah, so the Cairn Lodge service station.
Yeah, and then you're coming down. Am I right to think the road just runs adjacent to the M6?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it runs all the way down.
Because we followed you, and I was like, hang on a second, he's on the motorway.
Yeah.
And until you zoomed in.
Yeah.
And how was that road?
It was fine.
Busy, quiet?
The Scottish ones are great because you follow them all the way down, and they've got a cycle tracks running right down beside them or some sort of path. So pretty much they're great to run on. They're not bothered. I think there's one I was on for about an hour that was a bit dodgy, but.
And are we still on target for the time? Are you still?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, we've not even touched on that. So you're completing roughly 65 miles a day.
Yeah.
And everything's going swimmingly. Yeah. So there's no sort of like time pressure. You're just managing it fairly well.
Yeah. Yeah, all the normal stuff like pains in the feet and blisters. No, you just grin and bear it and carried on. So.
Gretna.
Yeah, Beatock, Gretna.
Carlisle. I'm looking at the map in my head here.
Yeah.
And then from Carlisle, you must have had to hang, or you're running down, so you're gonna have to hang a right and come across to Keswick.
That's it. These roads were quite dodgy.
Yeah.
They weren't like they were in Scotland. They're a little bit more, you've got nowhere to go on the thing. So I ended up waving my paws at a few cars just to let them know I was there and stuff. So. Yeah.
So the Keswick, I'm going to guess, looking at timings, was the Carlisle to Keswick at night?
No, it would have been morning because I set off
early morning. Early morning.
Yeah,
early morning.
Early morning set off.
So
again.
I'm asking you like you should know, but I can imagine it's going to be like a massive blur.
Yeah, it is.
I haven't
actually sat down. I mean, when did I finish? What day is it? It was only 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just recovering at the minute.
Which is why I thought I'd try and do this fairly soon on, because it's easily forgotten, isn't it? Some of the stuff that's happened.
Yeah.
Carlisle, Keswick, fine.
Yeah.
I spoke to you when you were at Keswick, I think.
Yeah.
Hannah actually confessed at some point that she did go into a shop that was nothing to do with this adventure. She went into like a housey shop.
Yeah.
I think she needed some therapy because she was looking pretty ropey on the camera. She was tired.
Sea salt or something, probably.
Yeah. So you've not had any real interaction with normal life for 5 days now. No. You've just been moving forward.
Yeah. 1 foot in front of her, keep going. Yeah.
And then down Derwentwater.
Near Derwentwater.
So I'm thinking like roads I know now. That isn't a great road to be running on because we ride it and there is that much gravel in some bits that you could sort of walk on, but you wouldn't want to run it because it'd be slow. And there's plenty of cars buzzing down there and buses.
Yeah.
Up and down to Honister.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I mean Hannah at some points was going ahead, flashing lights and stuff like that to warn people.
Yeah.
But it was just a case of just waving my paw, just making sure they slow down.
Nobody will know that you've just run from Scotland.
No. They just think, why is that lunatic running down a busy road?
And bearing that in mind as well, did you speak to people and did people say what you're doing?
Yeah, I spoke to a few on my way on my journey. A lot of them looked at me pretty strangely. I think they thought I was joking.
Was that before you told them where you were running, or was it just because what you were wearing and what you smelt like? Because I can't imagine you for 3 or 4 days of constant moving.
I stunk.
The van wasn't so great. But I understand that it's like the administration of you having to come back to the van, change kit, dress any wounds, get your feet raised. You're at ice as well, having ice on your feet.
Yeah.
So all that, as well as eating.
Yeah.
Hannah's there with your dog.
Yeah.
And she's having to sort of maintain this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard work as well.
Yeah.
Crewing and supporting is.
Yeah, and she's prepping meals and everything for you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she does a good job at it as well.
So yeah. So I suppose cleaning the van wasn't really on the top of the list, was it?
No, nose blind. She didn't know. Yeah. Normally she'd know. I'd come back from work and she'd be like, "Oh, this van stinks, Darren. Stinks what you've been doing." But she didn't know this time because she's actually been in it. So.
Well, I saw her, and after I'd spoken to her on the phone earlier on, she actually she looked exactly how she sounded on the phone. So no, did really well. Did really well. So obviously it's a team effort. So you just can't do it by yourself.
No.
Down the side of Dirt and Water. You don't go up to Hornister yet. You must have to turn left at Sea Toller.
Yeah, Sea Toller. You turn and come
and then that's going up the corridor route, isn't it? Heading towards the corridor route, Scafell.
That's right.
And I'm thinking weather, because when I knew you were going up Scafell and I looked at it was a pretty blowy in Kendal, and the whole time up to there, never had any rain.
Only a little bit in Scotland. I put all my waterproofs on.
Yeah.
For 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then stopped.
And then took it off because you get too hot. Yeah.
So I had to take them off.
So.
But no.
It was a fantastic week for it.
Brilliant week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was it like up Scafell? Clear.
Clear.
Yeah.
Fine.
Warm. Chilly.
Fine.
Yeah.
No.
Good.
Brilliant. One of the best days I've been up there. Actually.
It was lovely because I tracked you on open tracking.
Yeah.
And your dot was getting closer, and I'm not sure if you had a little rest before you got to the top. It didn't move for a bit, and you said there's a 10-minute time delay in between.
Yeah.
Although each time it sends a signal out to conserve battery.
Yeah.
So I was sort of waiting these 10 minutes, and then it hadn't moved, and then it did leap a bit. But I actually screenshotted. In fact, we'll show it now. I screenshotted the you being on the top, thinking like, he's now the tallest, highest person in the country, and not many people will know that he's just run from Scotland. And by the way, he was at Ben Nevis on the first day.
Yeah.
So it was pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, it was, So it stops. Even if you sort of like, I think maybe you're taking a layer off, you're getting too hot, or you're getting. I might have had a sandwich or something. I got some food out, and obviously the tracker shows you sleeping in a bed.
That's right. It occasionally went to. So there was the options were that I saw. There was you moving.
Yeah.
Which I can't remember actually what the symbol was, the one that we were always looking for. And then there was one when there was no signal, which happened just after Sea Toller, and it had like the bars of a phone charge with a line through it.
That's right.
And then when you were stationary, or we knew you were in the van, it had like a bed symbol on your dot.
Yeah. But I wasn't in bed.
So up to that point then, you've been 5 days on your feet, sleeping in a pretty ropey van by now, with your wife all the time when you're probably tired and a bit tetchy, grumpy, because you'd be exhausted. What were the low points up to that point? Was anything happen that was like got in your head? Did you have like a bad night, or did you stub your toe and thought about it for 4 hours? Or
no, I stubbed my toe loads of times, especially when it was Scafell. But going back a little bit, I started getting some pains in my hips and my knees that I'd never come across before in my running.
Right.
And I can only put it down to just the constant same pounding. On the road.
On the road.
With it, with no change, like there is in sort of trail running. You're changing using different muscles, but this is just a constant.
And I'm going to assume that's because you've run off road for so long.
Yeah.
To adapt to road running doesn't happen over a 2-month period or a 3-month period. It's going to be months, 6 months, a year, 2 years maybe. I don't know to get used to that conditioning.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's not. It's expected that you're going to feel some pain or discomfort.
I only did sort of 2 30-mile training runs on just before I started, but I think that's what impacted it. And what
so regardless how you got on, then do you think you in future, if you were going to do anything like this again, would you go more road training then? Do you think? I think, or would it be strength and conditioning instead of, because road training is boring?
Bit of both. It is. But I definitely concentrate on strengthening the parts up that I felt it in. But putting in more road training as well. So
with that aside, then, what about highs? What were the best bits from Ben Nevis to Scafell? What were the good bits?
Just the sense of achievement, especially being on top of, like, even reaching Ben Nevis and talking to people what I was doing, and seeing the faces and the reactions, and what was, what we were talking about when they were asking me what I was doing.
And when you were talking to people, were you thinking the clock's ticking?
Yeah.
Because I'm a bit like that with work. If
Yeah.
if someone interrupts me when I'm working, it's like, hang on a second, I'm like on a bit of a schedule here. I
Yeah.
need to bash on. I'm not trying to break an FKT or anything, but I just need to get back because...
Yeah. I think... No, not in a way. I think...
You're too polite then, because I would have been like, sorry, I've got to go.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's... with this sort of thing, I think you can always... I always had in my mind, if I got a few miles behind or a few hours behind, I could make it up along the way.
Yeah.
You know, because it's such a long way to go that you could sort of say, right, well, I'll reduce this, I'll reduce there.
Just to buy you a little bit more time back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But because it's not like, if it's a 50 miler and someone started talking to me, I'd have to be a bit more rude, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because the time you've got to play with is a lot less.
Yeah, it's a lot less. But with this, as long as you're getting that distance in with that 24-hour period.
So you don't think Killian then on his 12-hour 50 loop of the Bob Graham round chatted to many people?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because I know Jack definitely didn't, because he's just broken the record in 12 hours and 23 minutes.
Yeah, so quick.
30 minutes quicker.
Yeah.
So maybe Killian did have a chat with somebody. Maybe he had a chat with a couple of people for 15 minutes.
You never know. You don't know. Yeah. Maybe he did. But yeah, it does take up the time. But with that sort of distance stuff, you know, you can sort of make that up, or even make it up within a couple of miles, and think like, okay, well, I'll just pace it up a little bit in these couple of miles and slow it down again.
And kit-wise, no fails. You hear of people breaking a pole or the...
No fails, nothing major with kit. It was fine.
Cool.
It's all good.
Right, well, that's to the summit of Scafell. We can call that part 1, and then we can move on to part 2.
All right.